a man by the name of Malik Ibn Dinar. He was a highway robber, and he used to drink alcohol. He was an alcoholic in his younger days. Malik Ibn Dinar was known for his hardness and his faraway attitude from the right path, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to guide him one time. And Malik Ibn Dinar was walking through the markets one day. He looked in front of him and he saw a poor man and a rich man. They were both buying loaves of bread. The poor man had bought the loaf of bread and it was the last loaf. He had bought it already. The rich man came and paid double and said, "Give me the bread." And the owner gave the rich man the bread for more money. The poor man was standing there saying, "Please, I have no other money with me and I have daughters. If I don't feed them tonight, they may starve. And if I can't feed them and I can't earn my money again, they may starve to death in the long run. Please, I am living day by day." But the rich man did not care. He said, "It's mine and I bought it, I earned it. You look after yourself." As he was about to leave, Malik Ibn Dinar got angry. And the first bits of mercy came into his heart. He went to the rich man and said, "Give him the loaf of bread." He said, "No, it's mine." So Malik Ibn Dinar put his hand into his pocket and gave quadruple its amount to the owner and says, "Give this man the bread." Every time the rich man gave him more, Malik Ibn Dinar gave more until it was the poor man's bread. And he said to the poor man, "If your daughters eat tonight, tell them to make dua for Malik Ibn Dinar." Malik Ibn Dinar knew that he was on the wrong path, and he did not know how to escape this. He was well deep in being an alcoholic. He was deep in being a highway robber. He had stolen from so many people. He had harmed so many families. Rich, of course, like Robin Hood. He did not know how to climb out of it. And he wanted to escape to Allah, but he didn't know how. So he reached this poor man, and with his mercy, Allah guided him to say, "Please tell your daughters if they ate to make dua for Malik Ibn Dinar." He invested, my brothers and sisters in Islam, in sadaqah. In sadaqah, he invested. Let us look at the result. The daughters made dua for Malik Ibn Dinar. Time passed, and Malik Ibn Dinar wanted to get married. But no one would give him their daughter in marriage because he was a highway robber and an alcoholic. So what he did was, in those days they used to have slaves from war. So he went and bought a woman slave. He freed her and married her. He loved her so much. Then Allah gave him a daughter by the name of Fatima. Still Malik Ibn Dinar was on his old ways. Hasn't climbed out of it yet. When Fatima was about 4 or 5 years old, she was playing with him on his lap, and his love grew for her immensely, and she loved him immensely. He was drinking a bottle of wine, and Fatima used to come and hit the bottle of wine out of his arm, out of his hand. And she would say, "I hate this, Dad." Malik Ibn Dinar grew great love for his daughter Fatima, and she loved him a lot. He knew that she didn't like the wine and alcohol, and he loved her even more, but he couldn't stop it. One day, Fatima had a fever, and her sickness increased, and it was the will of Allah that Fatima died. Malik Ibn Dinar became so saddened by her loss. He was stricken with grief beyond measure. He was stricken in grief beyond measure. And brothers and sisters, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds you of Him and brings you back to Him by giving you certain trials. If He knows that by taking away something from you, it will bring you back to Him, then He does it. So always stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers and sisters. Malik Ibn Dinar, for the next few days, kept on drinking and drinking to forget. But he couldn't get over the sadness. One night he fell asleep because there were many nights which he hadn't slept and his body was tired. He fell into deep sleep. He says, I saw as if the world had ended, and it was Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment. And I looked before me, everything was destroyed. I looked, and suddenly to my terror, I see a huge monster like a dragon chasing after me from a distance. It wanted to devour me. I got so terrified from it, so I ran away. I came to a cliff, and I wanted to jump away from this dragon, but underneath this cliff was fire burning, Jahannam wal-iyadhu billah. He said I couldn't jump. So I ran the other way until I reached the coast of an ocean, of the sea. And there on the sand, I saw a very old man who barely could walk. His white hair, his beard had reached the floor from his oldness and from his frailness. I ran to him, for he was my last resort. I said to him, please help me. And the old man couldn't even speak to me, so he pointed with his frail finger in a direction. So I followed in that direction, and the monster is after me. He said I kept running until I found, in my dream, I found something that looked like a hill. And in that hill there were little caves like pockets. It was so beautiful. And from these little pockets I saw children and girls, daughters, coming out of these pockets. And I knew in the dream that they were the daughters of the poor man who had made dua for me. And they all called out with one word, Ya Fatima, anqidhi abaki. Oh Fatima, save your dad. Suddenly, I saw my daughter Fatima in my dreams. She came running to me. As the hadith of Prophet ﷺ says, which is sahih, that if you see a person who has died in your dreams, then it's a true dream from them. It's a message. So I saw my daughter Fatima. She ran towards me, and she did this with her hand, and the monster faded away. She climbed up onto me, and near my chest, I asked her, Ya Fatima, what is going on here? She said, oh father, can't you see what's happening to you? This dragon is your bad deeds. Look how many bad deeds you have accumulated until you can't even escape them anymore. And if you died in this manner, you're going to end up in hellfire. As for the old man on the coast, he is an example of the only one good deed you've ever done in your life, and that is the loaf of bread for the poor man. You have no other good deeds, and it's too weak to save you, father. Can't you see? And then suddenly he says, she looked at me, and she began to tap me harshly on my chest, trying to get my attention, and she recited the following verses. أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَمَا نَزَلَ مِنَ الْحَقِّ وَلَا يَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فَطَالَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْأَمَدُ فَقَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَكَثِيرٌ مِّنْهُمْ فَاسِقُونَ. Has it not come time yet to those who believe in Allah for their hearts to transform already and to return back to Him after it had turned so far away from Him? And not to be like those before who received the scriptures before, and when they received it they forgot their Lord and changed it until their hearts became hardened because they were too far away from Allah's guidance. So their hearts became hardened, and most of them are corrupt as to themselves. Malik Ibn Dinar says, I woke up and I responded, Bala an, Bala an. Oh yes, it is time. Oh yes, it is time. Malik Ibn Dinar went to the masjid, and he found the Imam praying. What I read, it was Imam Shafi, Wallahu a'lam. And it was coincidental that the Imam was reciting the same verse in Fajr prayer. Alam ya'ni lilladhina aman. Is it not time for those who believe to return? He says, I kept on crying until the Imam turned around after the salat and began to explain the meaning of the verses. And then I went back home, packed my luggage and headed off to Medina al-Munawwara to learn the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to renew my life. After that, brothers and sisters, Malik Ibn Dinar became famous as one of the top-ranking imams among our predecessors. Imam Malik Ibn Dinar al-Allama. We have many statements from him, and he says, if Allah took my daughter away, He brought to me the children of all the people of the world to me. I hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that my daughter was the light for me, and that she is the reason that I will enter paradise. Because of her, she helped me escape from the misery, from Jahannam. And finally, I hope from Allah that I will meet Him in Jannah. I have escaped to my Lord. Sometimes we need guidance in our life, brothers and sisters. Sometimes Allah just puts the opportunity right in front of you. He brings a person who is poor to ask you for wealth. He has put the opportunity there. He brings to your attention someone who is ill, someone who is sick, an opportunity to visit them. He puts in front of you the opportunity to make dua for someone, or to go to the masjid, or to respect your mother and father and obey them and do something good. He gives you opportunities, and sometimes they just drop right in front of you. Take them, my brother and sister. It is a guidance and a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is helping you escape from the misery to His forgiveness and mercy.